Okay, should be safe.
Warming up. So sorry we're starting late. Been a very busy day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as always, if you are watching this, this is a recorded live stream. So it will take a few minutes before we officially start the show. Feel free to jump forward to the start of the show or wait for us to reach that point. If you're watching right now live, feel free to comment so we know you're there, and we shall make sure you're part of the show. Let's just manually reshare links now. Oh, did you check if the audio levels are running? Test one, two.
Yes, but this is safer.
Okay, there. So just manually reshare for now. Okay, Facebook feed is running.
I'm adding you to my tags for the post.
Taking a while to load there. Weird, I don't see the emojis on. Remember, there used to be like the
It's
moment
not also
freeze.
fully loaded for you because it's frozen. I don't know.
No, it's moving.
Okay, it's moving.
It freezes every now and then.
No, that's our internet for you.
Sharing to the tribe. Sharing from my own feed. Um, YouTube feed is running. And I'll check now on Twitter.
Getting the YouTube link. Also,
Okay, links are running.
yep.
But Facebook's like super choppy for me.
Sad. Hopefully, it gets better.
Yeah, it seems to be running better now that I restarted. I can distinctly see where the orange light hits me. Oh, because it's pointing that way. Not
Oh, the chair is. It's
yeah.
and there.
Anyway, the best we can do.
With our home setup.
Down brightness. Okay. I guess we can start in a few minutes.
Yep, yep. Well, minor update is I'm well not fully recovered. I'm feeling a lot better since my booster.
Mm.
It was a bit of a downer for our episode on Tuesday, but hey, here we are. So yeah, if you are watching, it helps leave a comment. If you're David watching on Facebook, we still can't see your comments. That was a weird thing we discovered. Like some of our friends aren't able to comment.
Mm-mm.
It's bizarre. Darn you, Facebook/Meta. It's Jed. Hello, Jed.
See, I can't see where Jed is. Oh, there. Hey, Jed.
No, he's not David. See, then it's like there's two people watching, so I think David's there. No, I'll just believe that David is there, and I'll leave it at that. Okay,
Let's get
let's
started.
yeah, I'll roll credits. Wait, I don't know. First, all these pop ups on Restream. Restream has all these extra features if you go premium, and then as you move around the interface, they pop up and block your way.
Are you in premium now?
No, that's why until I go to premium, the pop ups won't stop. All right, so I'm going to roll the credits. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah! Really right!
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy, our little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Whoa, that's very loud cars in the background. I hope that wasn't.
That sounds more motorcycle to me,
Oh, that's
but
true.
sure.
So if you have just tuned in, we have shows twice a week. Tuesdays.
These days, it's twice a week.
Tuesdays is our gaming episodes, and Thursdays becomes our geekery episodes where we geek out and talk about the stuff we love.
Mm-hmm.
And for today's episode, it's all about Obar. Obar is the place which we have pretty much embraced as our second home.
And for many of you, it's the main reason why you have subscribed to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Because I post drag performances and other live performances as recorded at Obar.
So I guess a brief primer first. Obar is one of the bars in Metro Manila in the Philippines where people get to just be themselves. It's a place where we celebrate. Um, we basically celebrate your freedom to love, to celebrate life. We celebrate drag. We celebrate great food, great music, and
And we are not part of the management.
yes, and
We
and-
say we as people who go to Obar regularly,
And
and
not
not
as-
we
and
as
not
members of the staff.
and not as nobility. But at the same time, one of the reasons, other than the fact
Hey,
that we
Nikki.
love the place, one of the reasons why we're doing this episode is because your channel features over 800 Obart videos.
Yeah,
And maybe we can talk about that. as
it's
well.
closer to 900, but some of them are blocked. No. What is there to talk about? So it's weird how it started. Like, in the first few years that we were going, I
Mhm.
wasn't really like documenting as
Yes.
much. To be fair, it was also a limitation of technology.
Yes.
So, in the beginning, like I would bring a point and shoot camera, and then I could take a couple of photos every
Mhm.
time. And then later, like I got a lot more enamored. I wanted to take more photos, so I kind of got more gung ho.
Mhm.
And then, oddly enough, I'll probably cite things like Picasa. When there used to be a thing called Picasa, and then it would automatically upload your photos,
Yes.
and then it would start to do stuff to them, which was initially rebranded as Auto Awesome when Google Photos first launched. And then I could get animated GIFs if I took like burst shots and
Mhm.
stuff. So then I started taking more and more photos.
Mhm.
But then it reached the point that like the memory on my device was like maybe enough to take a couple of videos every night.
Mhm.
And then I would take snippets of performances as
And,
a video.
and if it wasn't memory, it was battery.
Yeah, it's always been a juggle between the two. I'm always juggling between memory and battery problems. So I switched over entirely to taking photos and videos with my phone a few years ago.
Mhm.
And then ironically, my video taking shot up dramatically.
Mhm.
I was using an S8. I even, had to get another memory
But
card.
you would bring a power bank.
I'd bring a power bank, to supplement. So because my phone would die before the night is over. Just to record stuff.
Now, for people who are wondering, no, Rocky does not bring a tripod. Not like other people.
Ironically, I have bought a monopod,
Yes.
and I still haven't brought it to Obar.
Because it's not the way you prefer to take the shots.
I keep thinking I should for practicality. So a lot of times, especially when I'm panning and whatnot, like guys, that's me holding the phone up the whole time.
Mhm.
I'm not using any equipment like other than the phone itself.
Mhm.
And it's a bonkers thing. So
The Jed of course
uh,
shares he loves Picasa. It was the iPhoto for Windows.
yeah, it was pretty cool. And then,
Nick mentions Picasa. Oh my god.
but now it's like, was this now? It's the assumption that everything is in the cloud. So then that's why I also switched to a phone
Mhm.
because um your Picasa style editing all happens in the browser or on the web app now.
Well, was Picasa ever a paid service?
No, and that's always the lesson of things, right? If you don't pay for it, you're gonna lose it.
Yes.
Or as I said in
If you
another
didn't pay
in the
for it,
company podcast, if you didn't pay for it, you're the product.
if not enough people paid for it, then the product might not last long enough. Hence,
Hence, Google Reader.
yeah.
Okay, so
Nick also shares Baduy retired it. Grr. So,
yeah.
so you would take photos and videos all night. You would literally be holding the camera up with one hand.
Mm.
In other cases, with both hands, if it were while taking video, you'd press to take pictures.
Well, I've gotten better at that.
Yeah,
No,
you
no, no.
cannot do it with the hand.
Actually, my left hand is my stabilizer.
Mhm.
So normally you'll even see me like I'm just touching the phone with a finger
Mm.
while it's
adjust it.
here because I'm just using it to stabilize. Although there are some messy videos, I just changed phones recently. My finger crept into some of the shots because then I'd be holding the phone like this and then it would creep in. No, but my thumb hits
And
photos
then
during
there
video.
used to be the times wherein I would hold the battery pack up
Oh
because
yeah.
while you were taking shots, battery warnings.
I
And
think I wrecked my S8 battery port that way. I tried to go like Sky Commander. I don't have it here, but like I have the phone in my
and then
hand,
you'll
and then I'd
balance it.
I'd have the power bank here with the cable attached to the phone, and then I kind of be just like this. So, yeah. I thought I'd be a lot better. Like, okay, I've been working out. I've been trying to lift weights. Would this improve my O-bar ability? But the first week of O-bar's reopening this year, oh my god, that first night was like I have forgotten what this was like.
Mhm.
My O-bar arm. So things.
Jed mentions there's a gadget for that, something to support your arm or elbow
I mean,
discreetly.
like I have a literal monopod, and I could just bring this and prop
Yeah,
it on a chair.
but but it won't work because you still want to be able to frame your shots, and it's
That's
not like you're
sort of
just. It's
true.
not like you leave it there running the
And
whole
then I
night.
do kind of dynamic zoom,
Yes,
and then
so
now
it's
I'm
not gonna
like,
work.
and I like switching between portrait and
The only
landscape.
way the monopod will work is if it were standing with a, I don't know, automated system, and then you have a handheld app wherein you could allow it to zoom and it will adjust on its own and stuff like that.
But
Because
it
there are,
probably won't be fast
but
enough.
there are such devices,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the only
And
time.
there's those smart gimbal things, but then like again, I don't think it'll be fast enough for what I want to do. So I mean, I know it's just a matter of learning, but then I'm okay for now.
So that's our preamble to why this episode is happening.
And why my channel has so many O-bar
But
videos.
the other reason is that Obar just celebrated its 16th anniversary
That's
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah, the 15th.
And can you imagine that 16 years having a place where people can just be themselves? You literally have a child who has grown up, right? That's 16 years,
Wow. Okay,
and
sure.
we all feel that. Um, we
Hey,
we
Mitch.
we've felt it to the point that, as you mentioned, technology has caught up. That you can now take more
That's
shots.
true though. When you think
Um,
about it, even the way I've documented O-bar has gone from several leaps
I
over the course of this
I'll
trip.
add to that.
Okay.
My first year of going to Obar, my car was manual.
Oh, there are things like that. Okay, fine.
And now
Is
I'm
that what
using,
is that going to be the theme of this episode? Like, what has changed? What has changed for you
because
since you started going to
it
O-bar?
is 16 years, and we
It
can't
is.
ignore that. 16 years is a lot for many. It's practically more than half their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you could imagine.
That's a short life though, but okay.
No, I mean, for those who go to Obar,
Okay,
so like
okay.
they're in their 20s.
I see what you
And
mean. I see
yeah,
what you
see,
mean. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that's a lot of time if you think about it, and it's been there, and it's been supporting us in more ways than we realize. Yeah, Nikki mentioned, oh wow, 2005.
Yeah, yeah. So Toby's okay. To be fair, we have not been going to Obar for the full 16 years.
Yes,
Toby has
unfortunately.
gone a little longer than me at
I
13 years.
Yes,
I've been going for 12
my
because
first
Toby
time
dragged me.
there, it was already 3 years in,
Yeah.
and it all started with my at that time, we weren't friends, but we were friends back in college. Tom
Mm.
inviting me to his birthday after being distant from him for so many years because we kind of had a falling out during college, after college, and all this and that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I decided to go meet up with him. That was at the restaurant across the street. No, not Paddy's Point. What was that? Uh, it was a piratey themed restaurant.
It's not Gilligan's Island. No,
Was it?
I don't know.
I can remember it's P. Anyway, so across
Can't remember the bar.
across from Obar was that restaurant that was there before, and I remember it was like me and I think just one other friend, or it was just me who showed up, and then even his partner wasn't able to go because of some issue that happened, and he was feeling down, and I kind of wanted to help cheer him up, so I told him, "Okay, it's your birthday. I have my car. Where do you want to go?" And he just points across the street and goes, "Obar." And I'm not a um, I in as much as I've gone to bars in my younger years, I never really hung out in what was clearly not a straight bar.
Mm.
And
Okay.
at that time, admittedly, I was not out.
Okay.
I was living the lifestyle. I had friends who knew,
But you didn't tell your family.
but I haven't come out to my family. I did not officially do any coming out. When
Mm.
you tell your
Close friends or
or
something.
co-workers, I think is the better one. 'Cause
Okay.
friends I did already.
Okay.
But it's kind of different with friends because it's like it's still a secret between you guys
Mm.
compared to like coming out where you like tell people. Um, 'Cause I only came out
Jed,
with you.
did he really just point out? Oh, yes, they did. Because and if someone can help, what was the name of the resto
I think
bar
it was
across the street? It
Was it?
wasn't Paddy's Point. And okay, it doesn't matter. You can't search it now
yeah, I know.
because it's not there. So yeah, and then I guess for my contact is that because I only went to Obarcos at Toby because, like many a person who's been going to not Celia, Celia's in the back. Like many a person who's been going to Malate since way back when. I mean the year I left home in 2003, I started going to Malate. But then the
Mm-mm.
place to go at the time was Bed.
Mm.
And then I got so used to like when you get to Oroso Nakpil, you go straight into that little courtyard
Yeah,
with Bed and New York Cafe and all that.
and what was
And
that
then
shop? The
Pride Exchange.
there you
Pride
go. I
Exchange.
was about to say exchange something.
Pride Exchange. So it was like I'd always just go in, and then I didn't really pay much attention to what was going on outside because the
Mm.
goal was to get to bed and stuff, and that was like the where my partner at the time and I would go. So it was only until Toby that okay, we finally pay attention to Obar, and I with regret, I feel bad that I didn't go sooner, and I say that now, and with the benefit of hindsight, a dear friend of mine who, uh, coincidentally today is his birthday,
Mm.
and his death anniversary was Monday, but a good friend of mine was always telling me to go, and then I never did. I never said I would, and then I know I didn't because like our group of friends generally didn't. So I'm glad that Gilligan. See, it
Yeah,
was
I think it
Gilligan's.
was Gilligan's.
So I'm glad that there was a point in time that we were able to go together.
Mm.
We got to enjoy Obar together, and it didn't help that he lived like out of he moved out of Metro Manila, so he went less frequently. But we did get to go a few times before he passed.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's things I always remember. Like I don't know why like I closed myself, not consciously, but it was just my friends go here, so I go here.
Mm.
So it's just one of those things, and I think a lot of people are like that, especially at the time when you come to queer spaces. Like you kind of just go what's to
You
where's
stake your
familiar.
territory.
Yeah, yeah.
You find something you'll define as the place you belong.
Mm-hmm.
And for some, it was a marketing thing that they'd also push. For others, they didn't really care. I know there were a lot of friends who would literally go between bars on certain hours
Mm-hmm.
because at this time there's less people there, so they'll go there. And
Mm.
at this
Oh,
time,
yeah.
there's this time this is too
Oh, that
too
was-
packed, and then
That was a very Malate behavior.
Yes.
Right? Because all the queer spaces were right next to each other.
Yes.
So there would be things like you could warm up at like New York Cafe and even get dinner
Mm.
before you go to like bed like later at midnight. So there was that kind of behavior. And then later on it even be like people who would sing at Cinders,
Mm-mm.
right? Was it Cinders?
Yes, or eat at Celia afterwards. Before
Yeah,
going
and then
home.
and then Celia before going
Yes.
home. Yeah.
Jed mentions misses the feels of gay clubs. Then there was a certain seedy but good vibe. I think, admittedly, and this is just me, that's more a Malate vibe than a gay vibe
Yeah.
because
Malate was always counterculture, bohemian.
you didn't feel that in the what's this Palawan area, which had its own
In
set of different
Cubao.
bars, right?
Okay.
It felt
Or
very
the
different.
outlier was like government. When
Yeah.
government was still a thing, and then
Mm.
we go to government and you feel like, oh, I'm still in Makati.
Because they were still gay bars in their own way. They were still places where you could be yourself.
Nikki shares his college batchmates were bed gays. Yeah, I think, and it's like it's a generational thing also. Like, because if you were going out in 2003, 2004, most likely that was it. Whereas
Mm.
slightly before it, there were people who most remember places like Mint, right,
Mm.
or all these things.
Red Banana was that?
Yeah, Red Bananas were always.
Yeah, and then Lipigi. Those are the older ones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Giraffe.
They're generational things, and then and I know like even then like, and it's funny because there was recently a tweet from a friend that's like, "Are you an Obar gay or a Nectar gay?"
Mm.
Which is in jest, and then I know automatically our response to things like this is, Obar people don't care, and it's not because I feel like, which is one of the things that always been like defined the Obar
Mm.
experience. It's just like you can go anywhere else
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter to them
and that
because in
was
the end you're always welcome at
and
Obar.
that was present as early as the Malate
As early as
years. I
Malate,
remember
totally.
in the Malate years, I'd be with friends, and later on they'd be like, "Oh, we're heading to bed because ganyan ganyan friends are there," and we're like, "Okay, we'll just be here."
Mm-mm.
But then when we would, let's say, go to bed to hang out with some friends there, and then we'd be like, "Oh, okay, we're heading to Obar," and they'd be like, "Oh, why are you going to Obar?"
Mm.
And there was always that,
I've literally been part of that experience.
and we're like, because it's more fun, and but some people need the drama.
So yeah, I don't know. So that's definitely one thing that's like defined the nature of it. That the bar is always the culture of the bar at itself has always been very welcoming and very open. And I mean, yeah, you can. So in a modern context, you can go to Nectar on Friday and go to O Bar on Saturday, and the
Mm.
O Bar people won't give a crap. You know.
Now, in the earlier years, Obar Malate was, um, I use the words with so much love, but they were so devoted to making sure that Gay Manila had a space because they were open every single night.
Yeah, 7 days a
That
week.
was
Not a great business model.
Yeah, but that was amazing to realize. And I remember when I fell in love with Obar and realized they were open every single night.
Mm.
I just started going every single night. It helped that my work then at that point was this family business wherein I would have the late hours free.
Yeah,
Um,
and you had a lot more control of your time.
yeah. So I literally went for 3 months straight, and gosh, that was such a rush. It was fun to see how the bar was growing then. Even that early, you already had the drag queens having their performances.
Mm-hmm.
The place was much smaller at the start, of course, and despite the despite the humbleness of the place,
Mm-hmm.
they'd have little platforms or boxes that would be used as stages so that
Stages.
they'd be propped above everyone else. Um, they would still have a disco ball in the corner that would reflect the lights around. The DJ was literally somewhere where you could prop up to look at him.
You could
Um,
you could pass
you
you could
could pass
pass a
your tips and
request.
requests
Yeah, yeah.
directly to the DJ. And then the queens, then the dressing rooms and stuff were pretty much by the side of the bar
It was not a
outside.
dressing room.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a
it was like
space.
a cloth covering the area
Yeah,
around the tree
near the
near the staff exit.
near the cases
The
of
the crate,
the
yeah, the
yeah,
cases of beer, the wall of beer.
yeah.
Okay.
And I remember that big tree. There was
Yeah, yeah.
that big tree that the stuff was around, which kind of served as the dividing line as well. So it was quite a rush, and I remember all those years, those early years, um, because it was such a small space. It allowed for so much connection.
Mm.
When they were before or after performance, they would hang and mingle with the people. You could buy them a beer, or they'd sit with you and just trade stories.
And Malate had the unique, like, you could chill outside on the limited outside tables and chairs,
Mhm.
and drink there, and there you could have proper conversation.
Yes.
And then come time for the show, you kind of have to cram back in and like see
Yes.
what's going on, and then in and out. And then that was echoed later when Malate had a second floor,
Mm.
and then there was like an area where you could just drink, and the music
Yes.
is still there but not as loud, and then rush down again to try to watch the show, which is always
Mm.
difficult given the crowds on the weekend. Okay.
So
Um,
yes, Jed mentioned it was something intimate. That's true. The place really had that intimacy, and that's what I loved about Obar. I remember in the few times I accompanied you to Nectar, um, the place was was impressive to look at.
Bed. We
Sorry,
have
to
never
bed.
gone to
You're
Nectar.
right. I confused the two for some reason. Anyway, um, because it did have that open area in the middle. It did have that catwalk like stage in the center where people would perform, and later on that's where people would dance.
Mm-mm.
It did have that staircase that meets the entrance, which had that impact factor. But in feng shui, that's very bad luck. Well, they did catch fire. So,
Wow,
sorry, I
Toby. Wow, Toby.
word vomit.
Let's talk about Obar.
Let's
Okay.
go back. Yes.
Wait. So Nikki shared you the oh he remembers Dream Girl singing with Doc. Okay, while the Divas were performing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. And then yeah, Nick recounted earlier, like, even he had a night where he went to Obar, Nectar, and Unit 27 in one night.
Mm. Mm.
Wow, bar crawl. That sounds like an adventure. Okay, okay. Bed caught fire. Yeah, there was a fire. One of the air conditioning things. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
electrical fire, but it was
Eh,
like during the off hours.
yeah, and that was much later on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was towards the end, and then
that wasn't. Yeah.
they. I'm not gonna read that out. Okay, and then they went on to Greenfield. Okay, so there's that, and then
So going back to Obar,
oh,
um,
I was re-listening to the Rank magazine feature they did on Obar,
mhm,
that was released last year, and
mm,
then the interview portion was mostly Mon, and then he mentioned that they like didn't really have a business plan going in.
mhm,
They just wanted to open a bar. They
mhm,
just wanted to open a bar and then figure it out from then. So things like the drag queens and stuff, all these things kind of came in after.
mhm.
But they didn't have a clear plan. And then supposedly, when they were trying to figure out the name of the bar, they submitted all these different
Yeah, they had
names.
to fill up the form.
Yeah, and then the initial list of names, none of them were accepted until finally, like, the clerk, whatever, suggested, why not just say O, like O bar, because it was on Arosa,
Mm,
and it stuck. Although, like, now O bar O can mean almost anything.
yes.
Where there was a which magazine was, I think it was Mega's interview with Rupert, where he talked about O can be anything. It can be
Yes.
orgasm, orgy,
Yes.
whatever. So Jeg was asking what the alternatives. I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Mon. He
Mm,
didn't share what the alternatives were in that
yes.
interview. But the video is like they reposted the video yesterday for the anniversary. So it's if you go to the Rank Magazine Facebook page, it's very easy to find.
And even in the early years with the performers, there, it was then it was still following how it was in any other bar. Wherein
Mm-mm.
all the performers would perform per song. They were all individual performers who were trying to get, I guess you could say, slots to perform on the stage on
Mm.
the show. But later on, it was in the later incarnations of Obar that we started to see the shift as they started to work on numbers that work together, as they
Mhm.
started to more perform as a coherent unit.
Oh, sorry. Side note, Jeg was asking, it's a new video. No, it was released, I think, last year, but it was recorded before the pandemic.
Yes.
So it was still in person and all that. Okay. Yeah, and then I guess and even the drag thing was organic. It because at least the way the interview went, it sounds like it was not part of there was no plan
Mm,
to like become a drag venue.
mm,
It's something that happened over time.
mm,
And then um um it's funny how things have shifted, and like now drag is probably what Obar is best known for,
mm.
and with good reason, with very very good reason. Okay. And Jed and Nikki and Jed are still talking about his 3 bar crawl night. At least the parts he can remember. Okay. So what else do you want to highlight in this Obar Feel Goods video day?
So other than the drag performances, there was the music. Obar had its share of different DJs through the years,
Mm,
and
mm.
in as much as we joke about it, there's no ignoring how every DJ would give their own spin on the music,
DJ Stone.
whether it's adding vocal tracks that
DJ Stone.
declare who it is, or the occasional noticing which service provided the song.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Well,
I
that was less the DJ, that's more the performers.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I remember fondly, only because like so DJ Stone had a pre-recorded DJ Stone statement
Mm.
which he would like slip into his
DJ
songs,
Stone.
right?
DJ Stone.
Simon didn't do that, but he would give away
CDs.
CDs during
Yes.
Christmas.
Simon would burn Christmas mixes that he would then give out.
Wow, Jed asking, "Where's DJ Stone now?" I have no idea. That's a
I
good
still see
question.
him on Facebook.
Oh,
I
okay.
know there were instances where, before the pandemic, where he was asked to play
Yeah,
again.
like I
But
I
I
think
think,
so.
but I think the consensus was different vibe.
Mm.
I mean, not like the better DJs they hire now.
Ow, ow, ow.
Um,
Okay.
Nikki mentions did I coin the Odivas name? I am not certain. I do know at some point we were already joking about, and that this is me. Okay, so during my early years at Obar, that's me, Tom, Don, Nico, Sunny, Doc, and then occasionally Nurse Jenny and etc.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, burping. And at that time, when they were still individual performers, um, we were joking about how they should have a group name.
Okay.
And this was partly also because of the popularity of K-pop songs. And
Okay.
sorry, I was about to say Destiny's Child, but basically the group numbers, right? Because whenever now it started to become a group number,
The what was it? The Wonder Girls?
Dream Girls,
No,
right?
no. Dream Girls
Wonder
is
Girls
the
is the
musical.
Korean,
Is
yeah,
the Korean?
yeah. But
Okay.
even the Dream Girl songs, right? And
Okay.
so since they were starting to do group numbers and then Pussycat Dolls as well, then we were like, oh, mga divas na sila, and then we were like joking, oh, maybe they should be called O Divas,
Because you
and
just wanted the pun, oh diva.
yes,
Okay. Because
kumbaga.
okay, it does sound plausibly Toby.
And then we were joking how it works as well with or without an H.
Mm.
Kasi parang, oh, divas. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Now, it's unofficial because for all I know, they were already using that name beforehand, and we also just came up with it. And
It's a logical leap. It's a logical next step in
Mhm.
a place like drag queen divas and all that.
But I will
It did
admit,
become poster official.
yeah, but I will admit that we were also feeding a lot of stuff because like
Yeah.
um whenever we'd see queens who we feel that our numbers good for them, one of the most prominent ones was giving Jaja the "fuck you" number
Mm.
by I forgot the name of the
Lily
artist,
Allen.
Lily Allen. Um, we do that, right? We like we'd see someone, hey, wait, you have to listen to this song. Or oh my god, I remember trying to play it on my cell phone. And at that time, streaming music was not friendly at all.
And to that point, it's not like Toby ever really got into streaming music. He would have phone songs loaded on his phone only.
Yes, yes. But it was ito, listen to this, and then we'd plug in the earphones and then I'd play the song and then they'd listen. And then I'll send it to you later. Ganyan, ganyan. Because mind you, I was not yet Facebook ready at that time.
Oh yeah, Toby only got into Facebook after me.
See? At most, I was
Multiply.
multiply photo bucket, I guess. Or
Doesn't really count as a social.
wala pa yata photo
May
bucket.
photo bucket
Hindi ba Yahoo
no.
Photos pa lang?
No, photo bucket came first because I was using it for blog stuff. Okay.
But definitely not GeoCities. That's way earlier. So
What is Yahoo Photos? Is there Yahoo Photos? I don't remember a Yahoo Photos.
but yeah, so we would do that, and our group was doing that already, and then when we met, we did that even more to the point that we introduced Fosse. We burnt references for them to review because we wanted them to to check it out, and then they
Mm-mm.
started getting into it themselves, and they started looking into that.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, it was a lot of.
Flickr.
Yeah, so Nick mentions, I remember you ended up talking to me, Jovan, and that very first time. Yeah, there were
The
memories.
Odiva
I
story.
do remember memories of coming up with stuff like that, but of course, I'm always loath to make absolute
Claims. Okay.
claims, only because it is not unheard of for parallel
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ideas to happen, and we don't necessarily know
It's
the whole
it's why
story.
we get so many movies of similar themes come out at the same time.
Ants, Bugs Life, Deep Impact, Armageddon.
Okay.
I was going to say a few others, but those were puffs. Never mind. So I'm not talking about Volta. Anyway, I'm so dead.
We're
Anyway,
sober.
so there's the music, there's the DJs, there's the themes. Um, there's no denying that um, O-Bar, like most other gay bars, would eventually gravitate to hitting anthems.
Okay.
There would be the hit songs that everyone would love to hear, but we would always go back to specific anthems, even if they're older songs, even if they're
Mhm.
passe.
Which,
Because
to be fair, to some degree, like a lot of the different Malate bars had like their tribute songs.
yes,
There,
exactly.
hence you'll always hear things like "Happy"
Mm,
in regardless of bar, not just O
mm,
bar. I mean, I can say that with that context, but yeah, but I feel like O had like a lot more,
mm.
like a lot more embracing that.
And then Man in the Mirror, Faithfully,
Mm-mm.
and so on and so forth. But then it would be specific mixes.
Yes.
Because, like, the way Obar would play it would be different from how Bed would play it,
Yeah, yeah.
would be different from how we'd
Oh,
hear it in
and then on
government.
a side note, to the earlier point, we were talking about DJs. Hence, the whenever we hear Jaiho, I keep expecting to hear somewhere in the middle music on demand
Yes.
because there's this one version of Jaiho,
That was used before when they were still performing it in those
and
early
it could just
years.
keep lingering in the music on demand. Oh
Uh,
yeah, I tried to hunt around that Man in the Mirror thing. I think it was like it was a mix derived from a Head Candy mix or
yes,
something.
yes.
Oh my god, Head Candy. Okay, things like that. So that was always good. I will take a moment to like say that the staff always felt
Yes.
very different to me.
So let's start with the staff in terms of the bouncers, and then move into the waiters. So
Okay, I
and
mean I'll let you take lead. So
so the bouncers, um, they definitely look like bouncers, right?
were there always was there always a big bouncer at the door?
Yes,
Okay,
that was Melvin.
okay,
So and that's how I met Melvin, because when I would be at the entrance waiting, oh sir, kayo na naman. It would be that sort of thing.
okay.
So
Noel.
so it was a lot of early kamustahan with them, and then it would then lead to the waiters. Um, the waiters, of course. So there was that thing about knowing your waiters.
See, okay, that's distinct to me, and I think I told Toby this in one of our first drives home after an Obar night,
Mm.
and maybe it's just me. I mean, I know I'm not the most sociable person, and I can be very
Welcome, Noel.
very ignorant of social cues, um, and that no, that at bed I never knew any of my waiters. I mean, you could identify waiters easily
Mm-hmm.
because there was always a gimmick. Like a lot of nights they'd have to wear like these white hard hats or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then I could spot them like hey, here's my order, and that's
Yes,
it. But like
they
week
were
to
functional. They were
but
very
week to
functional.
week, I had no idea who was serving us,
Mm.
and maybe that's me. Maybe that's just me not being considerate.
Mm.
Because when I started joining Toby at O, then it surprised me like, do you know everyone here? Because regardless of waiter, you're like talking, and
And,
it was such a thing like, who is your waiter?
and we know the names,
You know the
right?
names of the waiters, and
Mm.
then which is something that I felt that was built into the culture later on, because when
Mm.
as Obar got bigger and the staff grew, the number of staff grew,
Mm.
um then they started having shirts with their names on it,
Yes.
which was like, I like that. I always liked it because then it helps build that relationship that
Mm-hmm.
then you really get to know who your waiter is.
Mm-hmm.
To the fact now that even with the new COVID new normal reservation system, it is both reserving your table and asking who might be your
Yeah.
waiter if and they'll see if they can arrange it. So
Yes.
it's like it's an important aspect of the O bar experience to have a waiter.
And for me, I think that was one of the what's the word? It was an indirect way of being more connected because
Yeah.
because if you get drunk, you know who is taking care of you. If you forget your phones, Nick, I'm talking about you, then you know who you can ask.
And at the same time, in the in the early days, in the more extreme cases, if you pass out drunk and are
Mm,
unable to settle your bill well, they also remember who you are.
yes.
And next week we're like, hey, you didn't get to settle last time.
So it was that nice thing. It felt it made you feel that you were not just a faceless customer. That
Yeah.
you were someone they remembered. You were someone they connected with. Um, so you had the bouncers, you had the waiters, and then you had of course the people behind the scenes, everything from the kitchen staff to
So question, like when you think about it, traditionally, in media depictions of bars, then like the bartenders are normally like supposed to be characters or stuff, which is a little harder for Malate because the bar was in the absolute corner
hmm,
of a very narrow space. But
yes.
were do you feel like there were ever notable bartenders?
Um, if there were, I never connected with them because I never was a bar person.
Mm,
I was always at the table under the stairs because that was our spot in Malate. We were upon entering on the right side under the stairs. Even before there was a second floor, the stairs was already there, right? Because there used to be a different shop upstairs. We would be that table facing the DJ,
mm-mm,
and that's what we loved about it. Because from here, we could look at the DJ, tip, and we want the song. But then we could turn to the right, and it's the stage where the show would be.
mm-mm,
And then if it was too crowded or if we needed to smoke, um, back then we could smoke inside. But then when smoking was banned inside, we could then squirm out easily because it was not too far from the entrance.
So I wonder like because nga, the original Malate setup, the bar was in the corner. It wasn't a great place
Yeah,
to be, and so you normally had waiters
moving around.
going back and forth to
Mm,
the bar. And then when they went to Ortigas, the bar was more central, but it was still like a relatively inaccessible bar,
mm,
especially on a crowded night. And then it's like waiters going back and forth. And then you look at the setup now, like predominantly it's assumed that waiters go to the bar.
mm.
So isn't that funny? It's like the it's an O bar system in a way,
Yes.
right?
Because
That
in most places, everyone goes to the bar to try to get their drinks and
yeah,
stuff. Here,
yeah.
the waiters will try to bring it to you.
It's a interesting. I want we should ask about that. Like, is that a choice? Is that a is that a system that grew out of Malate and then became a thing that don't hassle yourself and go to the bar. Just call a waiter and you'll get help. So yeah, so that's like I mean there's so many stories about staff that
Mm.
I can't get over. So
Now, moving beyond staff, I'll have to talk about the decor.
okay,
Well, it's not uncommon for bars to, of course, celebrate and decorate and theme. O Bar made it also a point to connect. So, like very early on, and this was by year four, which is my first anniversary at O Bar. We had the picture that we took as a group, our group with City
oh that
Grace,
the
and
tarp,
that became the tarpaulin outside. And
yeah,
a little bit later on, with your picture of the green laser light on Grace, then became also another.
which I must credit. Grace made me take the photo, so I can't claim full credit for that photo.
Yeah, but it was always that there was again that connection with people. Even later on, when the second floor opened, we had those portraits on the wall.
Ooh, there are stories about those portraits, but yeah, but it was cool
Hmm.
that it was like, hey, it's like regular customers.
So it was nice to have that feeling, and I will have to add that it was tastefully done.
Yeah,
Because you do have some places that would have a regulars wall, or our celebrity guests are here, so it'd be all these pictures and blah 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 blah. But um, that's not how they did it in Obar. In Obar, it would be nicely framed. It would be with the proper.
and that's like and that's the Rupert influence
Mhm.
predominantly, I'm sure, and that's things that I only appreciate now knowing more about who Rupert was, and then his background
Mm.
in design and stuff. And these are things that you won't know coming in. Like coming in,
Yes.
it's like, I mean, even just it was subtle. Like even under the stairs, the painting the stairs in black and white stripes,
Mm.
which is like not, which is you could objectively say it's not super original, but it looked really good.
And then you'd have the mirror areas to
Yes,
help expand the
to make
feel.
make the space look big,
Yeah.
because Omar Malate was tiny. It was
Mm.
tinier than like original bed,
Mm.
if I were to compare it anywhere, and that was also a small narrow space.
Hey, Patricia, right?
Yes.
After
Hello,
so long,
hello.
hello again, Patricia.
And then Jed was saying that it's very La Caja Folly. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. That thing. Okay.
So I guess it's early enough that we should flash it because we love the bar. Again, our O Bar is celebrating its 16th anniversary. This
Actually, it's celebrating both the 16th and the 15th, because
yes,
we didn't
because we
have a
weren't able to
proper
celebrate.
celebration last
And
year.
I will state this early. I don't think there are any tables left anymore available because it's using a reservation system. People have to call in, reserve tables.
Chance table.
The tables are from the small, the big, and the VIP areas. For the details, please contact Obar. I don't think we're in the proper position to give those
But
details.
yeah, there's like a phone number in the corner that's quite tiny, or
Mhm.
it might be more practical to leave a message to the Facebook page.
Yeah. So this event is the Rise of the Phoenix. That will be this weekend. Um, and then there's the upcoming events for the season.
Oh,
Are,
you wanted to do the
you want to show those like real quick lang? Just so that at least we can plug them na lang.
yeah, I got a toggle thing. So
Of
there
course,
is,
Noel, shameless plugging because we that's your photo. Is that your photo, Noel?
of course, because Noel, did a lot of this. So we all have our different contributions to this. And then there's like this, okay,
Okay.
weird things like the
We,
special holiday schedule for Obar.
let's talk about the special
Holiday
holiday schedule.
schedules for Obar.
So
Okay.
so this was one of the things that really made me fall in love with Obar.
Mm.
When I was going in my first few years, well, in my first year, and then I was told, so ano, kita kits Christmas. And I'm like, wait, what? You'll be open Christmas? And they're like, yeah. And then it made total sense to me because, so the plan was after Noche Buena,
Let's turn this side by side.
diba?
Wah.
After Noche Buena, you can go to Obar
Oh, it's too small.
and you can celebrate there. And I was thinking about it and I realized, that's true. Because once Christmas happens, if you're younger, midnight, yay, we can open our presents.
And then you're done.
And then after that, kanya-kanila na, di ba? Some people will sleep na, others will do something else, others will play with their gifts, etc. So I realized, you're right, we can hang out after Noche Buena. So I started going, I started meeting up with my friends every Christmas. And then more so, it also happens for New Year.
Mm.
After the fireworks, mga 1 or 2 hours after, if you're at Obar, it will be open and there'll be a show.
Which, and it kind of goes back to that, like Obar always being open and stuff. And so quick catch up on things. Of course, yes, credit to Noel for most of the photos of recent Obar collateral, because yes, photo shoot. Good job, Noel. And then Sam was asking for going the 18th. Yes, we've booked the table for the 18th. We'll be there.
Mhm.
Then for the anniversary.
Noel was asking if we will go on December 25th, 1 a.m. So just to be sure to follow Obar's definition,
It's Friday.
it's December 24th after Noche Buena.
Yes.
Because that December 25 schedule is the within December 25, which is I think 10 p.m. Just so it's not confusing. Because if you say pupunta ka ng December 25, they might think you're reserving for the 10 p.m. December 25.
Yeah, we've already booked the table for December 24 night.
Yeah, December 24 after Noche Buena and December 31 after fireworks. We've already booked the table for that.
And we've been like, ever since Obar reopened, is during this pandemic year, that was already like our question, like, oh my god, are you going to be open on Christmas again? Are you going to be open for New Year's? So we're there. um Noel, how can you not find a friend, or just, or invoke your photographer
Noel,
status?
puno na kami. So you better find a
Syempre,
friend para
we
dalawa
already
kayo.
we already booked in force. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, so that which is, so now it's like, I have this. It's become a tradition for us that we'll always try to celebrate. We'll try to be at Obar after Christmas and after New Year.
Yes. And this is coming from different Christmases.
Yeah,
Because
so we
Rocky
we spend our Christmases with our respective families,
mm,
and then we have to
reunite.
reconvene to go
Yeah.
to Obar. At least New Year's, we typically are together, and then Obar again.
Mm-mm.
Oh, what was Nick's comment about the frame?
Yeah, I think the frame rate's bad on Facebook. It's like really, we look like we're underwater. Under
Okay.
the sea.
Alas, alas. Okay. Yes.
But yes, Noel, you be better book na. And if you're not, if you need people to share the table with, um, there's always Baduy Pride people you can ask. Alternately, you could also ask sila Chai, sila Samael. Maybe they have friends who need kasama. We're all
Just talk
happy.
to JR Noel. Wag ka umarte. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, what else? What
Okay,
about?
so about Christmas. So, um, Christmas, New Year, and let's not forget the Pride celebrations and the anniversary celebrations. These would always be such special moments because they would really find ways to make it more awesome. The
Mm.
performances would be grand. In some cases, they'd be cultural. In some cases, they would try to, bridge two different places. Like I remember when I think it was a Pride event, we had cultural numbers, but then even the Go-Go
Julie.
Boys, right? Even the Go-Go Boys were doing traditional dances.
Yeah, or at least would have like rehearsed numbers and not
Yes,
just their, um respective generic gyrating
dancing
dances.
dancing to their own beat sometimes. Hey Julie, we miss you too.
Okay.
Um,
Um
and then there would be sometimes numbers from unexpected people who are supporters and
like
fans of the
like
place.
like for Saturday there is a surprise guest. Ooh,
Mhm.
who could it be? I have no idea. Okay.
For previous ones, we had numbers from Ballet Philippines. We had numbers from celebrities. One of the funny things is there was the Regine event where Regine was literally an Obar, and a lot of people keep wondering if it's an impersonator.
Until now, I get comments on the YouTube videos, and they're like, "Is that really Regine?" And then like, "Yes, it's Regine. She went to
But
Opar
then on
and
the flip
performed."
side, we have Bench who does a very good Sarah Geronimo, and people keep thinking it's really Sarah Geronimo.
Yes, I love that.
And they're
I
complaining.
I love that there was like a tabloid blog that cited my video as as evidence that like Sarah Hieronymus' mom, it must be,
Pinayagan na siya
oh, it's
mag-sexy
getting more
numbers.
relaxed because letting her do sexier things, and then like that's not how that is. Okay, okay. Oh, thank you, Julie. Okay. Um. Oh, okay. I have a good story. Remember the year? So there was like back when the Pride March was still in December because it
Mm.
tried to coincide more with World AIDS
Was
Day.
this Malate time?
Yes,
Okay.
and it avoided the rains of June,
Mm.
July. Um, that there was a stormy weekend, but it wasn't that stormy. But then the Pride March canceled, and then we had all prepared for like the Malate White Party because that
Yes.
used to be the big thing for Pride. There'd be a big white
Yes.
party. We all went to Malate in white, but
Event.
there was no event. And so we were just at Obar at the Malate second floor, and then
Mm.
we had fun. We have so many good photos.
Mm.
Um, and then kind of it started like, why did we have, there was the conversation of why doesn't Obar have an event? Because normally it would join the Malate events, but it
Mm.
didn't quite have an event of itself. And then like in the year, if I'm not mistaken, the year after was the first year that Obar started to have these pride parties.
Mm.
So, and that was a fun little thing. And then so the events became like there's
Hey, Lumina.
the white party in June, the black party for Halloween, and
Mm-mm.
then the anniversary party in December are like the three white party things. And hi Lumina. Yay. Okay, we're talking about what long history for Obar. Okay. Um and Lumina is part of that diverse history.
Yes, Lumina.
And Nikki complaining
Memories.
about not catching celebrities. Maybe you just didn't notice, Nikki. Maybe they're not celebrities to you. I'm kidding. I'm
So
kidding.
so let's cast the net back. And sadly, we were so busy, we weren't able to properly prepare for this. But one of the recommendations or suggestions Noel gave us before was, why don't we try to dig through our archive of thousands of photos of the Obar nights we've been having all this time, and then choose like moments to highlight. So we won't be able to really do that for this episode. Maybe we'll do that in a future episode.
Maybe.
But let's try to jump back and remember the performances that really struck us. I'll open with Karen and the Candles.
Her name was Karen, huh?
Yes, I remember her name was Karen. I could be wrong. Please do correct me, Lumina, if I'm mistaken. But one of the performers, and I remember her name to be Karen.
It felt like a stunt.
She would have a clump. I don't know how to describe it. It's like sticks of dynamite all
No,
rolled together.
it's like literal like mass candles,
Oo,
right? It's like the ones at the side of the altar.
Sa
So
baklaran
they were
and
like
like-
they were like very thick.
So it's a large number of them all together, all lit. And as she's performing, she'd let the wax drop all over her. And oh my god, that was always such a show-stopping moment. Because you'd be watching, and then as the show progresses, you're like, "Aray, sakit na yan." And then there's so much wax na, and it still keeps going. And oh my gosh, that was just amazing.
Was it Meatloaf? Was it anything I'll do for love and I won't do that? I don't know. It's like one of those. I know that was one of her numbers that she would do, but it's like remember.
I think it was all coming back to me now.
Oh, okay. Could be.
Because that's what I sort of remember.
I know I was like shocked as like different props would come up, and majority of these would either be Nap or Let,
Yes, Nap.
sometimes Eva. But then it was, I mean, like, and this is funny because this is me being an out gay person
Mhm.
for who had been going to
Mama
Malate
Karen,
for
Lumina
some
confirms.
time now, and then, but, uh, Let that pulling out a giant stuffed, well, essentially what is a stuffed dick. It was a
Mhm.
stuffed toy that is a dick. It
Mhm.
was still like, oh my god, what is this?
It was rude. It was hilarious.
Yes.
It was so in your face. But at the same time, it always felt just so safe and funny. It didn't feel like it was attacking.
Although I have high respect for Nap's oral abilities because she did many things to different dildos
Okay.
on stage.
Especially when the dildos had suction cups.
Oh, see, that's it. That's the image in my
'Cause-
head. It's the suction cup on the mirror, and then like,
And then
no, no, things like that.
okay, Noel mentions Jaja and Alanis' performance.
Oh my god.
I will confess, there was a point in time in the early years I could not tell them apart,
Oh,
and that's
that's
their,
Toby's face
that was their
blindness.
stick.
Yeah.
And then even after the performance, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, who's who?" And I'd be struggling to remember. What helped me was Alanis would have pale pilsen,
Oh, you went by drinks.
and Jaja would not.
Okay.
And when I'd see pale pilsen, yung hawak, si Alanis yan. Oh, we miss you, Alanis.
I know.
Okay, what else? Lumina. I will have to cite Lumina was, and this is not to sound negative, but it was a gadgety approach. There would always be, because it was a lot of Gaga and a lot of
Okay. Yeah.
those type of inspired numbers. So, if I remember correctly, there was the one with the what you call those bands. So you'd like stretch them, and people would lay them out and across the stage and stuff.
I have some memories of this. Yes.
And then the laser pointer. We have to talk about the laser pointer.
Oh my god, the laser pointer years. How did the laser pointer start? It was Mon first, no? Was it Mon first? I think it was Mon.
Mon
At least that group.
Mon
we
would-
weren't regularly hanging out with Mon yet.
yeah, Mon would have a laser pointer, or was it Rupert? I forget which of the two started.
Or eventually both.
But then I eventually also got one. And then
it worked kasi in Ortigas.
no, but even Malate.
Malate
Because
pa.
we would use it to hit the disco ball.
Mon Grace Leon says no.
Yes,
Okay.
we would use it to hit the disco ball to add an added effect. But the main reason the laser pointer was there was to better easily call stats.
Because you could now shepherd above people's heads so you don't blind anyone, but it would be to flash the laser pointer towards the bar in the
Or
corner.
or at one point it would just shine up, and then when the beam is up, your waiter would come to you.
Mm.
Um, but then more
Hey,
people
RJ.
started doing it, and I think there were some who were using the because there's I know by law there's certain laser pointers you can't use in public
Okay.
because I think the red ones were bawal, the green ones are okay, stuff like that.
Yeah, depending on luminosity intensity.
Noel mentions Leon doing Madonna numbers
Leon
with the
Madonna
straw mic.
straw. I missed
So
that
Leon was a friend of ours, and I only use past tense in terms of the
because
past
he's not
events,
in the country.
but we haven't seen him in so long. But he's still our friend. He would get the
The
straw,
bendy straw.
and not sometimes it's not even really
That
bendy.
is true. That is true.
Sometimes he just either bend it or knot it or melt it slightly,
And then we clip it behind his ear.
and it would be his Madonna mic, and he would like dance and perform on his own. Hey RJ. But yeah, those were fun numbers. Um, I'm trying to remember who else. So of course you had Janet.
Oh
Um,
my God, Janet! To this day, I always be like, God, she's beautiful.
yeah.
She's like, I don't want to, appropriate drag terms, crassly or anything, but fishy.
Yeah.
That's fishy. That's like
And
wonderfully
and I
done.
have to admit, she was one of the few who, you're Janet. I get why, because you saw how she could look like Janet.
Okay, okay, and that's a thing, no? That's like, I feel like is a generational thing for drag names, and maybe, and then Obar is like kind of stuck to that pattern, and then it's hard, but you see when you cite the names of the drag queens, it's really like it's Jaja, it's Alanis,
Mm.
it's whatever. So they have a drag name, but it's literally just a name or a nickname.
Mm.
Sometimes it's their real name.
Or it was close to an artist they like
Yeah.
or a celebrity they want to impersonate.
Instead of like these very punny
Funny,
names,
yeah.
which is a very, I say at the very least, I'll say Western approach,
Only
or at
because
the
of our
very
exposure
least,
to RuPaul's Drag Race.
RuPaul's Drag Race approach, where
And Paris is
everybody's name has to be like this punny phrase,
Mm.
and then you see a lot of newer queens now, who grew up on Drag Race, who named themselves in that manner, and then Obar is still like a bit of an outlier, where the queens are not named in that fashion unless they have like named outside of it, then it's like different. So even like, although it's not a pun, but like the new one now, Martha Amethyst, it's like, ooh, that's a clunky name. I
It's
wonder how long it's gonna stick.
it is kind of drag house name
Mm-mm.
in terms of how it feels like. And I think that's part of what's happening now with the naming culture. Because at first, the names were kind of just who do you perform or who are you good at doing, or what vibe you give. And then later on, it started to become more self referential.
But see, like, okay, Alanis, not someone I remember for performing Alanis Morissette numbers. I remember for so many other things, but not that. So it's just funny. Nap with the mechanical tongue on her punene. Yes. Well, number one, Nap's tongue alone was amazing.
Yes.
But number two, yes, she had like
The underwear thing that
the
had
party thing as a vagina, right? Dumanas like baby queen po ako. Baby Nino. Ay nako. I mean, so what are the baby queens now? Infants or no?
oh my god.
Eggs. But there are so many young queens now. It's amazing. But yeah, and I remember when we interviewed, was it Turing or Bench? I can't remember when they were talking about what were they going to call themselves
Mhm.
as performers at O, and then parang yung nga the punny names don't fit very well. Like
Yeah.
they're like no,
And
don't do
and
that.
in some ways, that's also an influence of Rupert.
Mm,
That
I
um,
think so.
Rupert saw a certain level of star quality that was expected from the people at Obar. So, that's why if you were performing there, it wasn't just you do your numbers. You'll have to train, you'll have to dance, you'll have to take allocutions lessons so you know how to properly shape your mouth when you're saying the
Mm-mm.
words. There was a discipline added to just the performance.
And it's funny because and taking a step back, but like the local sort of house style naming was very different and was very adjective driven. Hence, technically, right, cat cat is captivating, cat
Mm-mm.
cat, ganyan. And then there's like semi House of Captivating, and there's like Gorgeous Dawn, and there's like the adjective names. So it just fascinates me how the naming conventions, over time. But then it's even like, so new queens who started at Obar. So then you have people like Maxi was just Maxi, right? I mean, but Maxi also ties to the theater background in the
Yes.
show. And then sibling is Angel, and then that's it. It's like there's no other dressing up the name. So
Or if there were, it was never something showcased enough for us to know.
yeah, yeah. And it's always like that. Like I'm always asking, like, because whenever there's new kids, I'm always asking who that is. And then, admittedly, the longer the name, it's probably be harder for me to remember, especially the more I drink.
So
Um,
Jed mentions there will be new queens this weekend.
yes, the part of the anniversary event is that
So
they are featuring. Well, I, yeah, I wouldn't say big, but definitely newer queens or queens. I think the way Jr. kind of stressed it also, like a lot of the queens who like also kind of gained prominence in different circles during the pandemic. So a lot of queens who uh, may have started even mainly online. I mean, like I wouldn't include
yeah.
Mrs. Tan in this count of Mrs. Tan and Mrs. Tan, but
Mhm.
a lot of amazing talent has been discovered across the pandemic, and I'm very
Mhm.
excited that some of them will be able to be on the Obar
So
stage
I
this
think the
weekend.
poster does mention some of the names. Um, we will not mention any names just to make sure that we don't make a mistake or preempt anything.
No, it's there. So
It's yeah, that is
Mrs. Tan, Manny Queen, Martha Amasis, who was like
yeah,
ordering for me,
yeah.
Elvira B, yay, and then Naia Hill Pineda and Rian Monte Carlo. I don't know Naia, although I think I've seen Naia's TikTok.
Yeah, it's possible that we've encountered.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So quite cool, quite cool.
So the numbers were always amazing. To use a better to lack. There's no other way to describe it. Um, Either they'd recreate or they'd reinterpret. And I know it's not completely uniquely an O bar thing. Other bars did that too. In many cases, it's not even the bar thing because many of them were making their own numbers
Yes,
and bringing it
yes.
to different bars.
Initially, especially in the early years, like they were Obar was also on the gig system where it was
Yes.
like you depending on how well the night was, then you book slots.
Yeah.
You would be booked for slots, and then but then it's up to you to perform.
Yeah.
It wasn't only until recent years that the script got flipped, and then like let's cultivate the stable of queens and give them more training and make more group numbers.
Mm-mm.
Um, so
And then
what was I gonna say? Okay, go
and
go.
then as we reach Obar Ortigas, that was around the time that we start to share more Bob Fosse stuff.
Mm-mm.
That's when we were saying, "Oh, check this out. You might want to look at this," and ganyan. And one of the early numbers, and I don't think it was the first, but I don't want to misspeak. So one of the early numbers that we felt so happy to see was when they did the sweet charity numbers. This included Big Spender. I forgot the name of that
The
whole.
rich man's frog.
There you go. Oh my gosh, I remember. I was weepy. I was
Yeah.
drama
And this is
weepy.
probably like starts the origins of you hearing Toby going woo on my videos. If at the towards the first minute mark of any like big drag number, you're probably gonna hear Toby shouting in the background of most of my
Well,
videos.
better my shouting than my singing.
And this was
I
you'll hear
have
that too.
consciously,
You'll hear that
I
too.
have consciously tried to minimize my singing.
But you can't if it's Hamilton.
It's hard if it's
Okay.
happening.
Okay. Oh, but and I think that's also when I started taking more videos. When we started seeing the rich man's front happening and
Yes.
stuff. And to be fair, like Let That used to perform Hey Big Spender.
Yes.
But without the context of how it was depicted in the
Yes.
movie or the musical.
But then when
So
they
when they choreographed it as a group
and
number,
and I remember this was
Ortigas 2.
uh, rear area Ortigas, for those who are not aware of the numbers, the one that had a VIP area on the left hand corner if you were staring at the stage.
Yeah, the
They-
one that's facing Home Depot.
Yeah, so they used that area with the VIP divider to be the bar where they were all posed. And then it was the red lighting as they would do the number moving around in that jellyfish motion.
And it was even like it wasn't an optimal place. The spotlights were not designed
Yes.
to be on VIP. So the lighting was
But
weird.
they wanted that bar so
They
they could
wanted the
lean on
bar.
it. They could. Oh my gosh, that was
And
so
Nikki's
good.
like, I'm so sorry for seeing your video. No, Nikki, it's no problem. It's part of the experience. I'm just sorry I did not make you sign a release. So if I make any money off of any of those videos, they are just there. So yeah. Yeah, super chills when that first happened. And then I feel like and then we just saw more and more group numbers after that.
Hmm.
And that was just insane. And that's why I feel like things started to really take off. And I know that started as an effort by them, an effort to do more. And then
Mm.
I think it was only later on that they kind of organized things together with Obar as a team.
And I know we just started to share more and more that we can think of. Um, Another moment of just shock and joy was suddenly when they did. Um, I can't remember the name. With the jazz hands.
With the jazz hands. Pippin.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that was. Wait, are they gonna really do that?
See, this only works because we've been
And they
together this long.
did.
That Toby can just say with the jazz hands. Okay, Noel's like always gesture me to be quiet when I start singing. I don't try to silence people. I'm trying to warn you it's going to get recorded.
Yes, it's
The bigger problem is when people are having very loud conversations beside me, and like this is gonna go on the video. This is like the mic. You'll be surprised at what the mic will pick up.
yeah.
Sam was asking, there was a show where did the whole Chicago set. Yes, they've done almost everything in Chicago at this point. I think they just haven't done some of the guy numbers.
Uh, the the Broadway sets are always fun.
I love the Broadway sets.
'Cause-
I love that there are Broadway sets.
Yeah, and okay, I have to admit, it's one thing to just do Broadway, but they even sequence it so the
Mm.
mood kind of works with the
Yes.
numbers, and that's what's really fantastic.
Oh, and that's like something I've always felt was very smart and it's like always been a conscious thing. Even when it was still the queens kind of figuring out their numbers on their own, but there is an ebb and flow to the sets, right? That you have your big opener energy, then you can slow it down a little, then you'll probably pick it up, and then you'll rarely have ballad.
Mm.
That only happens if like there are new queens and they're like auditioning.
Yeah.
So then it's like then the sequencing gets
Or
off.
sometimes we suspect wala sa practice yung
Or
taong yun.
yeah, or
So
something
solo
like that.
member siya.
Okay, yeah. No, no shade. I know not everybody is able to dedicate as much
Yeah.
time to Obar as we'd like.
And
But-
no shade. Yes.
but
there-
but
you can tell.
the biggest no the biggest sign is that you mainly have solo numbers.
So, for example, Lep, who before could not keep up with the choreographed numbers,
Yes.
would always be a solo number.
Yes.
Now, choreograph na siya. So,
Lumalaban si Let. Okay, but but then in deference, you'll also okay. This is a little thing, and I just love this. This is not a date. This is not a read or anything. But in consideration to Let's age and her physical ability, excuse me, I love that the big group numbers normally pull her in at the end.
at the group finale.
Yeah, yeah.
at the
Or
ensemble
and you'll
moments.
always have Let walk in, but no, in a matching outfit as the rest.
Yeah.
But then like we'll be able to join like the last chorus or something. And I wait for Let to rejoin the group. This is like a thing I love that I wait for Let to rejoin the group.
And then in terms of lateness, that's when you, nandito rin pala si ganyan. Oh, nandito rin pala si ganyan. Mga late yan.
That was a bigger deal before. That was like when they're late. You know that you know it changes things. There were cases where queens were not in the first set but were in the second kasi na late. And I love the little stories behind
Noel mentions loves the cell block tango numbers.
it. Mm.
I used to have the cell block tango really high, especially when they'd really capture
Each of the characters. Yeah.
But then nothing compares to you. Still blows that out.
You
of
still
the
love
water.
Nothing Compares. And
Especially when it was the version that mixes it
with Wrecking Ball.
with Wrecking.
I did not realize that could be a mix that I would totally
And
appreciate.
it so works. and it was always it was an Eva cat number
Mm-mm.
wherein it would open with
Wrecking Ball. It starts with Cat Cat, and
yes.
then
As the
and then
chorus
Eva
hits,
comes out of nowhere.
Eva comes in with Nothing Compares chorus kicking in, and it would be a challenge, right?
Yeah,
Because like Cat stripped off the clothes for the Wrecking Ball number, so it's down to less clothes. When Eva comes in, she'll strip as well, or maybe she's already stripped. And then Cat later has the hammer for the Wrecking Ball number, and then Eva comes in with a sword.
Oh, Noel cites the mix ng buwan with Let Let. Okay, that I admit, that's cool. That so it was already awesome when Turing
First did one alone.
did one, and
It
oh
was
my god, that
powerful.
interpretation is very powerful. It's like very very it's just very modern dance. Where I don't know what to call it. I'm misspeaking. I'm not technically accurate. Um, Oh, and I didn't see
I'll
that
answer that.
question.
I'll answer
Okay,
that.
okay. And then but then there was a remix that went they did it in three different styles with Cat Cat first and then Let Let in the middle doing it with a Japanese mix and oh my god. Oh my god. So um I still love that. I hope we're gonna see it again. I don't know how they're gonna do it because I mean someone else has to do the first set now. The
Yeah.
first thing in that contemporary dance. Thank you, Noel. That
Let's also cite the ensemble numbers you don't expect to see.
like I mean,
Um,
like, there's always, but like, do you have a specific example in mind?
the one from it's running in my head.
I'm making Toby remember names of
John
things.
Bell in White,
Okay, and
radio playing.
radio playing.
Four areas on the stage.
I think I'm alone now, Tiffany.
Yes. I was about to say in Doom Patrol. No, it's not Doom Patrol. It's the other one.
I think we're moving the table or something.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay. So
I'm not touching it though.
no, when you lean forward to type and stuff, it's okay, it's okay. But yeah, it was the
I
I think
think
I'm
we're
alone
alone
now,
now.
which is like a reference more to the Umbrella Academy.
Yes, Umbrella Academy.
But it's such a wild number.
Because you'd have the four of them in different areas, and they'd have very diverse dance
Very
approaches.
strange, different, unique dances.
Which I don't know if because it does feel like it's inspired by the Umbrella Academy
The rooms of the house. Yeah.
but it's still also very its own thing because the dances are very that period,
Mm-mm.
right? Umbrella Academy didn't have the dance steps, but here the way John Bell would do his steps, the way
RA.
RA would do his steps, they're two different dance
And then it's
modes.
Valeria and
Mm-mm.
Precious normally.
And that was just so good.
Noel Side's Greatest Showman. Okay, Greatest Showman is this weird revelation of super gay whatever.
It so works.
It works. And then like now it's like almost every we're at that point where I think almost every single song from The Greatest Showman has found its way into Obar.
Yes.
Recently it was like the what's this that the Come Alive thing.
So
Oh no, not Come Alive.
So at first it was the Never Enough song that was the big number.
Yeah, because it's the big power ballad
Yes.
thing.
And then there would be the group number for special events where they do the main theme, right?
Mm-mm.
But then, oh boy, when they had the the spinning light thing.
Rewrite the Stars.
Yeah, I mean, as a way to start the show.
Sorry, the light. Yeah, that was the Cat Cat's number.
Yes,
Which was the Hugh Jackman song.
and that was just brilliantly
I'm
done.
gonna have to pull up the songs of The Greatest Showman and like confirm Showman songs. Okay, like which ones have not been used? Okay, so
So this is
A Million Dreams.
Yeah.
A Million Dreams is the one that with the lantern. Okay, Come Alive, yes, of course, has been used.
The other side, I think, was performed only once. I sort of remember
There was a John Bell,
yeah,
and
doing it.
yeah, there was one of that. Hi, Deo. Okay, Never Enough Court gets performed a lot. This Is Me gets performed a lot. Rewrite the Stars, which is still being done
Yes.
until like
Because-
this weekend.
because it's such a
It's so good. And then
so well
like
done.
okay, and then okay, I'll take a moment. If there are people who get to watch this, there are people who stumble on my feed. There are a lot of versions of Rewrite the Stars that I've already recorded. And then you'll get people like complaining that sometimes the form is off, it doesn't look polished, whatever. And then I'm like, these are uh, it's a drag performer first and a backup
Yes.
dancer who have learned to do aerial at a bar.
Yes.
So if you put it to that context, oh my god, it is amazing. And then the most recent performances, I know I told Valeria, your form is so nice.
Yes,
They've gotten so much better.
core strength. You could see the core strength has grown.
Yeah.
But plain and simple, there are a lot of a-holes online. So we just have
It's
to
okay.
we just
They're
have to
just
accept.
watching it out of context. They don't know the story.
Now,
Wait,
let's
so we haven't seen Tightrope.
yes.
Never Enough Reprise has happened, and then from now on.
So we have to talk about from now on.
Oh my god! From now on, I wasn't expecting to cry with From Now
I
On.
did not expect from now on to be a we've survived the pandemic song.
Yeah, so it became on the 3rd of December when Obar first reopened
Mm-mm.
since the quarantine began this month. The opening number, the first set was uh, From Now On, which is primarily a Hugh Jackman vocal.
Yes.
It's a guy. And it was MC coming in from the door.
Yes.
And there was that, oh, sorry, subtle diversion. Everybody's staring at the stage, the music is blaring, and then the vocals start, and then people are still staring at the stage. But, Obar veteran that I am, I start turning to the left because
you're
you scan VIP and then you scan door
to check if
they're
it'll be a
coming in
surprise
from the
entrance on
door.
the side.
And true enough, MC was coming from the door. But yeah, so From Now On was such a good choice for a song. And then I think tied together with all the emotions of not being able to go to Obar for so long and not to be able to see friends for so long. Ooh,
And the decision on how you will live your life
Yeah.
despite the realities that are out there. It was
super
so
cry,
oh my
super
god,
cry.
we were so ugly crying, and we were all hiding it from each other.
Well, I'm also taking videos so that I didn't want to get it. I didn't want to hurt in my video.
Oh my god, yeah, see Noel even agrees.
Yeah, so it was a good set. It was a good set.
Okay. Um Defying Gravity.
Ooh.
MC's Defying Gravity numbers have been one
Dangerous.
or an evolution, but at the same time a revelation.
Yes.
An evolution because we've had everything from aerial system to fly up, super long skirt,
Yeah.
to VIP section, roll out skirt
Oh, that's
to
true.
cover the doorway.
From the second floor, rolling down.
From stage, second floor, roll down. So we've had all these changes. But then it's such a revelation because so there was that one where what do you call it?
The carabiner.
Yeah, hit MC by mistake.
Before they could
Lift her up
set up the
properly.
harness.
Yeah.
So as she gets raised for the full defying gravity moment, she's bleeding from the forehead.
Yeah, but
I have it on video.
but she focused on the show. She didn't want to break character, and that I was a bit shocked. I have to admit, I always respected her as a performer, but that was a new level for me. So I was very very, I admired her so much that night.
Mm.
But then there's those numbers where she does it alone, and it's just as powerful, even when she does it with either brigading or whoever tends to be the because there's that song before it becomes Defying Gravity, right?
I could just leave you hanging,
I was about to say Perfect. No, it's Popular.
There you go. Vaccination arm. Okay. All right.
You said it's okay now.
It's better. Don't put pressure on it.
Yeah. So they normally start with Popular, and then it would go to Defying, and
Yeah.
so brigading would be taking the lead in Popular, and then MC would take charge. But then there would be times it would just focus on Defying immediately, and it was still just as powerful.
Oh, you know what amuses me the most? Because okay, since they do multiple drag numbers in a night, then we have never had MC in actual green makeup. We have MC with green spotlight,
Yes.
which is like
I think
It's
there was
like-
an earlier green makeup,
I did the ganabutan,
Yeah.
or at least I don't. But parang for most of the performances have been like not
green spotlight.
just green spotlight, which is smart because yung nga, who has time to do full elbow makeup if that's the only number you do?
for good.
And then there's like I would cite like This is like me looking back at YouTube comments.
Mm.
So there are a lot of people naman, they're very specific and like it's the wrong outfit for this number. It's the wrong whatever. But um
But they don't matter.
okay. What I like the thing is that more often than not, Obar is always an interpretation of these things,
Mm.
and then not necessarily. I was just drag is not all impersonation.
Yes, that's what people keep forgetting. I mean, maybe in the earlier years, drag was focused on impersonation as far as
How you can brand
How
it,
Philippine
yeah.
brand approaches were done, but that's still also an
But even
oversimplification.
then, it's like
Yeah,
because even in the early Malate days, it's like you had a lot of people performing numbers, but not necessarily
and
always
and
doing a one hundred
and the
percent.
performance had nothing to look like the number
Yeah,
itself.
or
They
not
were
not even the dance numbers or moves
again
from it.
Karen with candles.
What was that?
Yeah.
So all the sex toys. I mean, like they were just their own interpretations of the song.
Yeah, Nick
To
mentions Forbidden Broadway did the green spotlight effect as well.
mm.
Few saw this, so I'm very sad. But Dee doing Bird Box,
Oh yeah, I don't even have a video of
and the
this.
song was "Fly
Fly
Like a
like a bird.
Bird."
I'm like a bird.
Yeah,
Yeah, would fly
and it was
away.
it's such a hilarious.
It was so Didi with the
It was
with
lit-
Didi with her Les Miserables jacket, and then blindfolded, and then they
to be sad Sandra Bullock.
and then they stretched cloth across because it's the river.
Well, the river earlier the rope, and then
Ah,
later on the river,
yeah.
because you had Maxi and Angel as the
Or
kids.
whoever
Yeah,
small could
or
be.
sorry,
Yeah,
not Maxi. The one who's no longer with in Obar, but one of the performers.
that's not a
Letter G.
specific. It's not a specific name. The one who's no longer at Omar. Okay. Oh, but Precious and her butterflies.
Precious and her butterflies, but for me, ultimate Precious is Lord.
Yeah, which I still regret that I don't have a full video because this number was performed more at Obar 2 or
And
Obar Tigas
and,
2
and
in my
during
pre-video
yes,
days.
and also a number of the times you were still at work.
Yeah,
So Precious would do Lord
Royals.
with all these hidden containers or bottles or cans of Royal and all these different rulers. Protractor, long ruler, measuring tape. Oh my god, that was
The
so good.
measuring tape was a recent innovation. I love that one. And
No,
the way she did it was like
ultimate Noel mentions Cat's frozen number. So there's no denying
super iconic. Super
Cat's frozen
iconic.
numbers are iconic. I also love how Cat really got the transformation moment so well.
Mm, mm.
I remember the earlier I run off stage and I come back dressed.
Oh yeah,
And
that was
then
like the early gimmick.
and then
right?
later on, no need to leave stage.
Yeah, we're doing on stage
And
transformations.
I can do the hair, I can throw and then the nylon.
The nylon string
The nylon strings
for
to
the
make
glove
sure
flying away, and then the cape para it flutters.
those are so good.
And that's so tricky because that means it's pre-strung, diba? And then you have to enter the stage in a certain way and still perform the opening set before glove and cape fly away.
Yes.
So good, so good.
There was the Noel mentions Ultimate Precious was Last Dance.
Full ballroom pressure.
Yeah. The ballroom numbers and the ballroom nights are always very fun.
And Bernie, killer at ballroom numbers.
And it's hard not to really start dancing on those nights. But
Minor flashback. Do you remember when Bernie's main gimmick was breakdancing?
yes,
In the early days, Bernie's first like you most remember Bernie because she would get down on the floor and like start breakdancing. I'm like, whoa. Now it's so much different.
Precious had a very strong Katy Perry face.
Yes.
And,
Always.
And I'm sad again, so few saw when Precious did Katy Perry with the giant lion.
The halftime show with the giant lion.
Because that was a lion faked with the second floor as the top of the lion. But then you
Yeah.
had the giant legs, and that was just
And the legs were just like, freestanding on the floor. Okay.
that was good. I like that more than Cat's Lady Gaga leap from the balcony.
Ah, okay.
because she tried to recreate that. But then again, uh,
On a side note, Cat's many imaginary keyboards.
yes, yes,
So many different numbers, and then it's like there was the comedic ones with the what was that song? The with that song? No, no, you will always be
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that one. But then I felt like it was like there was always the comedic keyboards, and then it reached its final like dramatic keyboard with the Lady Gaga Super
Mm,
Bowl number, and
mm-mm.
like the keyboards have come a long way. Okay, I'm sorry. What were you going to
No,
say?
I lost it.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
I got it. There's no denying Precious and Beyonce numbers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Those were, I mean, especially when we started showing the video behind her at the same time.
Budeng! Hello!
Remember when we'd see the video and then Precious is doing it?
Yes. So I have videos of
Hey,
it,
Badang.
and it's hard to take a video of both the projection screen and Precious
Mhm.
performing. It's hard to frame. And then like I've had weird comments on my YouTube videos, like they don't understand what's going on. And then I have to be like, look up, look at what she's doing. She's recreating it.
Mm-mm.
So Nikki also cited Bernie splits. Oh my god, in the early those are scary, intense. Okay, okay.
We can't ignore the Kylie spoiling that we've had. Which Kylie number that they've done that you like the most?
Oh my god. Okay,
Because
and this is okay. This is this
Didi,
is distinctly us,
yeah,
right?
because
This is distinctly our thing.
Didi does a lot of great Aphrodite numbers.
Yes. Oh, that's like a lot of the concert has made it
Yes.
into Obar.
Which allowed us to have the ensemble with the gold and stuff.
I mean, all in like togas, doing all the lovers with nice
Yes.
simultaneous choreo.
Yeah.
Love that. And then
But then Precious did it with a bike at one point for Time Bomb. You don't remember?
I think you're mixing up. I don't remember Precious having a bike for Time Bomb, but I remember Cat having a bike for Pink.
Oh, okay. Precious just had a jacket.
So Precious just had the jack because that was over
Yes, right,
one.
right,
That
right.
was the first over
Right,
Artigas.
right.
Cat was the bike.
Cat was the bike.
Cat was the bike for Pink.
Cat
Give
was
me the
Cat
reason.
was also the Segway. Cat had gadgets.
Cat is a very good gimmick queen. I mean, and I don't mean this in a bad
Yes,
way.
yes, yes.
She had great use of props
It's
all
great
throughout.
ideas.
Very very creative.
Okay, Eva. So, Eva was one of the reasons I learned of Jessie Glynn. Jessie Glynn. How do you say that name?
The trumpet song.
And then
That's a Toby thing.
those earlier years when smoking was allowed inside, Eva would super use that to her advantage in her performances.
Oh, and then remember when like it became such a thing that postmodern jukebox, the
Mm,
YouTube channel,
yes.
then a lot of their music found their way into Obar, especially with Eva.
Yes.
And then half the time she's smoking during the number because it had that vibe, right? That
Mm.
moxie. Sorry, I didn't quite get to answer the Kylie question. I don't know if I have if like an absolute favorite. I mean, I have the weird for unforgettable moments. Like I'll always remember annoyingly getting dragged up on stage, and then
Mhm.
we
We end up singing.
yeah, especially for you, and my extras at the bar. And I said this in another Baduy Pride video, but yeah, that was like, oh my god, this is really happening. Um, yeah, I think the very first like time that Didi did like
Mhm.
Aphrodite as a concert, chills,
Mhm.
super chills. Like I can't believe this is really happening. I think what is more memorable to me, and that's I think also like what really kind of drove home that Obar is home, is uh Precious doing Katy Perry birthday
Yes.
on your birthday.
With a birthday shirt, with a birthday skirt.
Yeah, which is still a Katy Perry outfit, but
Mhm.
then and then would cram a candle or a cupcake with a candle somewhere,
Near
and
the
I would
crotch area.
that I would have to blow. And then like there were several years that it would every year that's it's gonna happen, and then you kind of know it's gonna happen, but and you have the stage frighty like I don't
Mm.
want to be put on stage, but you'll do it for this, you'll do it for Obar, and then I appreciate that, and I've been like missing not being able to celebrate birthdays at Obar because of the
Okay,
pandemic.
here's a challenge question.
Okay.
Touring number. Because, okay, fell in love with River.
River was distinct.
Touring doing River was, oh my God. Then Love on Top.
Love on Top not as much at Obar.
Because that was the full choreo with the backup boys. Oh wait, you were mostly at work at that time. I would record it. And then there was there's one
Sam says not getting married today.
not getting married today. Hamilton numbers, of course. But then there's also
You don't know the titles. Go on, you have to hum it. I'm not going to help you.
since the beginning of time.
What is that?
Kinky Boots. History of
Wrong guy.
wrong guys. Yeah, we had
And the one line you pick out is like super random.
That's how my brain works.
Hypnosis one with the gloves. Oh, I think I remember with the creepy trap. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, but then of course, like recently there was the Dodger Call.
Yes.
Oh my god, I always
The
forget the
forwards.
sequence: nails, hair, hips, whatever. But that
Yes.
when that first came out, like oh my god, I can't believe you really choreographed this.
And it was and when the group did it,
Yeah, it's a big
Really
group thing.
well
Super
done.
super awesome.
I love how some people fail to notice when they grab the fans for the first time.
And they get surprised.
Yeah.
I get comments like that on the YouTube thing, and like really,
Oh, my fan.
uh,
I was like, you didn't see it, and it wasn't started there.
and they literally all turn around
to get it.
to
Yeah.
get it
But,
and put it in.
so well done.
And, okay, so I mean, like we speak with the perspective of like having watched the show so many times. I guess I'll go through the cycle of like, which is like I wonder how it's gonna evolve now, but uh, you also could get different flavors of Obar based on the day of the week that you go.
Yes. So back when it was open daily,
Malate.
yeah, Balate days. Sundays was the let's experiment new number night because all the other days were still generally strong shows. Later on, as we adjusted to what became at that time a Thursday to Sunday schedule,
Nung una may Wednesday pa eh.
yeah, those days would be the experiment, whereas Sunday was the less experiment but more do the number you want. Right, that was the difference. Because like I remember the weekday nights would be the really what is this number, and then oh, they're trying something different again, and then Rupert would turn and maganda ba, and it'll be the
Oh,
pressure of
no.
we
We never know. Okay, we never know how to answer that question because, of course, we want to give new girls a chance, and we're worried that if we sway Rupert either way,
it might affect the person.
it might affect their livelihood and stuff. So we try to just give constructive and very positive feedback,
but honest.
but still honest. And then it became more often that Sundays became audition day.
Yes,
Auditions are on Sundays.
and Sundays were audition days, but
Thursday is super experiment.
Thursday was experiment numbers or audition number, meaning will this be part of the
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
parang
they'll perform it for the first time.
beta testing.
So that was like even in the prior to pandemic, what recent was like Turing would tell us, oh sa ganyan gagawin ko yung gantong number, and like we won't be able to
It's
go.
Thursday. You have
Yeah.
work.
So yeah, because Friday and Saturday were
Prime time.
were MRT level days.
Mm-mm.
And I use the term MRT for those who remember prior to the pandemic. To ride the MRT would be to take a shower in sweat of other people because there were just way too many people. But it was amazing. Um, I'm trying to remember if we've missed any. Gigi, let's not
Brigading now.
let's not forget. Sorry, brigading now. So Brigading's plastic bag number is a favorite I shall always treasure.
And we first saw it at a New Year. Was it a New Year or a Christmas? I can't. It was one of those. It was one of those nights, and it was, oh my
Because
god.
it opens with a, oh my god, it's not Precious because it's a Katy Perry number.
Yeah, you think Katy Perry
But
Precious?
then it becomes that version of the song where it's like a plastic bag
It's just a
over
loop
and over again. And so well done.
in full garbage bag couture, so to speak.
Mm-mm.
So, and I think the girls did it better than we've seen it on RuPaul.
Then there's the Freddie Mercury numbers.
Yeah.
Those were impressively done. I still also compare that mentally to when Eva would do Freddie Mercury numbers.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember those times, early
Yeah,
years.
yeah, no, and that's like stuff that we you would also see in uh Eva's makeup, like
Career. Yeah.
outside of drag, and like doing makeup for people on
Mhm.
noontime television. So it's just funny. Um,
Then there was the quirky numbers. So there was the magic show number,
which one?
when you believe, where they would have the person lie on the chairs and then they take out
Oh,
chairs.
oh, yeah, and then often abused, whether it's Precious or
Mm,
MC, or I mean, like you can mix and match who will be
mm.
forced to levitate on the chair.
There's the, I think it's the Destiny's Child number where the three of them go through a medley of songs and they change positions in the chair.
Yeah, it's the three bar stools, and then it's like different
But
Destiny
it'll
songs.
always end with a roller coaster
Yeah, yeah.
because the microphone stand, they'll then hold it as a
And then sometimes it's a boat,
yeah.
or it's the jeep. Um, all the creative stuff. I mean, like there's no end to it. So I'm and I noticed we're pushing 2 hours, so we should kind of tidy this up.
Okay.
Um, also, I haven't done my Duolingo today, so but I'm glad. I say this, and I don't have like beautiful words for it right off the bat, but I'm super glad that Ovar's still around, and
Mm.
I know that we've had many Baduy Pride videos where I'm like, I hope it reopens. I hope it reopens. And then I'm glad that it has. And I know we're not out of the woods, not just because of things like the Omicron variant being out there, but I'm sure that Obar has a lot to make up for, so to speak, financially, because they were closed for almost two
Mm.
years. That's hard for any business, and that's why you'll see us like continually trying to support, um, and at the same time also trying to be very patient in like helping other
Mm.
people find time at Obar. I know there's a lot of like uh challenges with the reservation system, the limited capacity
Yes.
at the bar. A lot of people are getting angry at the reservation
And
officer.
then
Please don't. She's
and
a
then
nice girl.
and then there's the people who are annoyed that it has to be fully vaccinated, and
Or
but
the number of people per
yeah, but
table.
but we have to still do social distancing. We have to still be responsible.
I
Uh,
mean, there's still risks, of course,
and
but then like we don't want to be crazy either.
and even before the pandemic, let's face it, going out to drink has always been something where you have to be responsible.
Yeah, yeah.
So grow up. Stop complaining.
Whoa, so snarky.
You could always stay in bed and not go out.
That joke doesn't work as well as it used to.
I'm being nice.
Eh. Okay. So ultimately is that, and then um, and I'm still sad, and I don't know if we've been able to talk about it on Baduy Pride, but yeah, I mean, Rupert passed away this year,
Yeah.
and as he one of the owners, he was the artistic director of the bar,
Mm.
and definitely one of the driving forces behind it, and it it's still going, and I'm glad, and I know I was like. It does still feel weird. Like
Mm.
I still turn towards their table and expect to see him.
Yes.
Like
Same.
I still expect a drink,
Same.
and things like that.
I roll, oh no, I not role play, but I replay what I think he'd react. So
Mm.
like while we're watching the show, my mind would be like I'd see him looking at the spotlights. I'd see him checking with the ganyan. And
Mm-mm.
then when a performer nadulas or nakamali, I could imagine him noticing it already,
Yeah,
and you know
the back gets straighter.
or glances at us and be like, "Kusapin ko yan mamaya." And it's yeah. And I think that's it. That we will always keep the people we love alive in our memories and in the moments that we've shared with them. Whenever we replay them in our heads, whenever we celebrate the love they shared with us. And at the same time, um, the legacy lives on.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the queens continue to strive for greater things, continue to hone their craft even further.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to having met him, we're not viewing, the artistry in that way. And that's a legacy they've left behind.
I mean, I'll go as far as saying like, and then we have like we have two different drag competition shows in the country
Mhm.
now, Drag Den and Drag Race Philippines, and obviously, you know, with this, with even without the cast announcement, we know that there are Obar queens among them, whether they are current Obar queens or people
Mhm.
who grew up or at least passed through Obar to some experience, and I'm sure there's going to be some attribution to
to,
that
to
thing.
be more, it's impossible that there aren't any.
Okay,
It's
that's a
impossible that there aren't
there's
any
that
Obar queens there.
because we will stand by them that they are some of
We
the best drag queens we've ever seen.
And this includes having seen places outside of the country and as well as other places within the country. Um, Not to say that they're all terrible. It's just that it's easy for people to think, local queens, wala yung kinumpara sa mga RuPaul, ganyan, ganyan. But you'd be surprised how the more common reaction when foreign queens see our queens is, whoa,
Yeah,
they do that well.
without naming names, I mean we've it's like it's been consistent for a lot of the traveling queens. I don't know, but visiting queens
Mhm.
to have been surprised at what the Obar queens are doing, or what a lot of local drag queens are
Yes.
doing. And I think that's something that uh, uh, there is no one template for how you should perform drag. RuPaul's Drag Race is also not even a template for what drag is or could be.
Yes.
Ultimately, RuPaul is a competition show with a format
Yes.
that is defined around RuPaul's career. So
Mhm.
the show echoes her career.
Yes.
So and there's nothing bad about that. That's the nature of the show. But to think it's the be all end all of drag, that's not enough.
Yes.
'Cause I know I had a friend in the U.S. chatting with me, and then like do you like RuPaul Drag Race? Like yeah, I do. I hate it how it's become the standard for drag. And like they never said it is. You're
Yeah.
saying it.
Exactly.
Don't let it be. So I'm so glad that places like Obar have done so much to help
Mhm.
foster this local drag artistry into something super amazing. It's why we're always there. It's why I take videos so often so
Yes.
that more people can see. And it's also, which I think I mentioned on the video once, but I'll share again. It's also so the queens themselves can see, because
Yes.
that's the funny thing. Like a
They
lot
don't
of
see
times
themselves perform.
they get all made up, they get ready to do it, but they don't always know what they look like on stage. They don't know what what their numbers look
And
like.
and for anyone who has performed on stage, can tell you, it doesn't matter that there's a mirror. You will not see yourself.
Yeah,
You are too busy giving your all. You will not see yourself. So to be able to look back and see it, I'm very happy that you're able to give that to them. I'm very happy when they are able to use your material to share it with their friends, with coworkers and the like. It's just I'm happy when it's also done with Delicatessa.
yeah. And we've had a lot of like people reach out over the course of the pandemic where they'll mention that like when they're feeling down, they'll just watch OVAR
Mhm.
videos, and then I get appreciation
or
for
or
that.
others who admit they're not sure they can travel anytime soon, but please take more videos para we can watch so we can pretend we were there also.
Yeah, yeah. And I've gotten like pandemic versions of that where like some, not because admittedly the current reservation system is a little cost prohibitive, and then it's the state across all bars, like
Yes,
because they have to work with a more limited capacity, so then they need higher minimums
to hit
to
operations
like
and the like.
operational numbers.
Yes.
So I've gotten people like asking for more videos so that in case since they can't go as often, to kind of catch up, and
So
I
Sam,
will try to do that.
yeah, Sam mentions honestly, the local queens always blow me away. That's true. That's true.
Mm.
Immense talent, immense passion. Um, I will always just always have that reserved moment of, but I hope that the passion fuels the talent and not the passion overwhelms the talent.
Okay.
Because there are some queens who are so passionate about what they do, they feel they're already perfect.
Ah,
And
okay.
you can't
Okay.
tell me how I'll do this, or you can't, don't tell me to that I can be better. I'm already me. And if it's drag as an identity, then that's fine. But if you want it to be an art form, if you want it to be
A
a
career.
career, if you want it to be something that you perform for an audience, you have to be, pushing your
I
talent
mean, to
further.
go back to terms that are a bit more relatable, or that it's going back to things like RuPaul's Drag Race. Even a RuPaul's Drag Race, you've never seen a queen get away with, "This is my drag period," and then I'm not going
Mm,
to take feedback. Right? That you have to be open to feedback so that you can evolve and stuff.
mm,
Because ultimately, as a performance art form, um, you
mm,
could get lost in yourself and just say, "This is my art," and not care.
mm,
But because it's all, there is an element of performance, the audience impact, how it is received, is still something to consider. It shouldn't absolutely define what you
mm.
do, but it has a role to
and
play.
and even beyond drag,
Yeah.
artists artists cannot help but create. Diba? And maybe it's partly marketing involvement, but look at how Madonna always recreates herself.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how even classical musicians explored how far they can take the use of the piano, the use of the chorale, and all this and that. To become stagnant is to kill your own art. So for someone to not choose to grow further, I feel sad when I whenever hear that. But going back to Obar, so Obar having it back in our lives, I'm very scared how I'll handle it if the
If
current
restrictions
the
get
current restrictions go up again, especially with Omicron now in the country. I will not say more behind that. I'm very annoyed, but yeah. So I'm not sure how I'll handle it if shutdowns happen again. But I am certain that no matter what, and I believe I speak for both of us, we will continue to support OBAR and the people who are part of OBAR in any way we can, even if it's through word of mouth, if it's through um, inviting people who feel they are safe and confident enough to go as well,
Mhm.
um, or even at least supporting the performers or the staff who might not be able to work yet and the like. So we're still gonna be devoted to that because it's literally our second home, which is an odd thing to say because okay, so what is our first home and what is our so we have our place, we have our family places.
You're putting way too much thought into this analogy. But the general assumption is that your home is your first home, and then your second home is a very special place that is Obar.
Okay.
Because I and admittedly, I like, this is where I go home. Okay,
Yeah.
do you go home to your mom?
When I visit.
That's visiting your mom. Okay, things. All right, that's not how the turn of phrase goes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm same thing. Like, I'm definitely gonna be heartbroken if we go back into restrictions, because then I'll get stressed again. I'm like, is it gonna survive? But but at the same time, we've been through we have been going through a global pandemic together. We have met many friends because of our online lives. Things like Baduy Pride, things like online drag shows. I'm super glad that our network is widening, and there is the realization. Oh my God! Wait, so we can finally meet Sam in person this weekend.
Yes, I know. Sam, can you imagine?
Things like that. That there are people that we have been talking to for months on end for most of this pandemic, and then we're finally going to meet in person. And
And shy.
I'm glad that it's going to be at Obar,
Mm,
because that's like, where else could this possibly be? And I think in that way it continues to serve that coming home feeling. And I wish we could bring more people. I wish we could
yes.
kind of have like our old big groups of friends over and stuff, but now is not yet the time for
Mm,
that. um And then for friends we regularly do go out with previously, it's like, I'm sorry, like the table reservation thing is creates scarcity. So it's like everyone for themselves to some degree, but also kind of a priority
Yeah.
for like who's available and what we can work
And
with.
even that is how do we put it? Just because they want to doesn't mean they can.
Yeah,
Because sometimes um, they're they're not willing to travel, or
they don't feel safe yet.
they're financially not at that place yet.
Mm-mm. Or
Um,
even just like a lot of us have gotten used to sleeping at night, and it's
yes.
hard to kind of go back to the old Obar schedule. Like I'm not fully in tune with that yet.
Mm-mm.
The first weekend where we went to O, we were like useless that weekend. We barely did anything. We're just like,
But they're like so worth it.
haven't been this hungover in so
But at the
long.
same time, that was also a oh my god.
Because we hadn't also been drinking for months.
But we also did not expect how emotional
Yes,
it.
the first week was like,
It's easy to say that
uh,
you're just being dramatic about it, but I guess for us, the moment you step in, okay, ba, you're containing it pa, but you're like, oh my god, I'm here again. I miss this and that. But then once the performances start, that's when it hits you that you're really there again,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
right, Nikki. It's nice to sleep at night, you know. Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to state, Nick. I'm not sure about the one of the chats you mentioned, because Flip will be the other person.
No, Toby, that
Okay,
was
okay.
like, wait, it was talking about plastic
Before.
bag. When
Okay, yeah.
plastic bag happened, it was
Okay,
a New
okay,
Year's
okay.
show
I
because he
thought
remembers the good
I
things.
thought this was coming. Okay, making sure. All right, so yeah, I guess that's it. That's our episode for today. Obar, our second home, and we will have more videos about Obar. For those who have been on this channel just for the Obar videos, if
I'm pretty
things
fast now.
go as planned, you might get new videos every week.
At least for December,
Yeah.
we're super like mapped out
Um,
consecutive Obar nights.
but then for those who are here for Baduy Pride, yes, we will be talking about Obar again in future
Oh, but if
episodes.
you're here for both, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Random, there was this one person the last time we were at O, as we were going out, he mentioned that he watches Baduy Pride.
Yeah, and then he's like, wait, you're here. And I'm like, huh? I watch your show. I know you guys. Sorry.
So hey, person who didn't give his name, and I don't think we've seen you comment.
Yeah, you were sitting near the exit table, so the table close
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
exit at Obar.
because Obar, like any responsible, pandemic establishment, is one way in and one way out.
Yeah, so we met you on our way out. You were very thankful and
We were very
grateful,
animated.
and probably a
We,
bit.
I think we were all quite drunk.
Yeah. But we do remember you and your kind words. So thank you so much. If you are watching this episode, comment away so we know who you are.
Nikki's asking where he was. I think you went out ahead, or I can't remember. Or is this when you were tipping your last bill and not knowing where it went? Memories were fuzzy at the end of the night,
Yeah,
obviously.
I think Nick was out first.
But yeah, because
Because you stayed a bit to linger at the table with Silabong. I made my way out na. And then that's when, as I was waiting for you near the exit and you were approaching, that's when you guys saw
yeah,
us.
I know I had to talk to someone, and there was
That
like
was Silabong.
was it Bong?
I remember because that table had Bong and Jenny. Because who else?
Was it that the previous weekend with the Bong and Jenny
Then
table?
who else would have you approached?
Or was I talking to JR? I may have been talking to JR.
Oh wait, yeah, that might have been JR instead.
We've had many
Because
conversations.
I remember you talked to JR like earlier.
Oh wait, someone has said that's me. Oh my god!
Hey Glenn, nice to meet you. See, we remember you.
That much we remember, but it was like, oh my god! So, which is cool.
And admittedly, that made us feel very happy.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah. I
because
mean,
we always hope people at least appreciate the content we're creating.
I always no, and then when we started Baduy Pride, I was like, oh man, all the people who have subscribed for Obar videos are gonna be in for a weird surprise. Oh, Nikki, it's over on YouTube. It's Glenn in YouTube. So hey, Glenn, nice to meet you. Thank you for leaving a comment. And will we see you this weekend? But Okay. Oh man, that's my last story. Okay, it's 11:30. Um. But yeah, because of the whole video thing, and we mentioned it in passing, but I've literally had people come up to me
Mhm.
and then like, which is creepy because which is like the recent Hawkeye video. You have someone going, "Are you Rocky Suniko?" And like, why?
Mhm.
And then it turns out they watch the YouTube channel and they would watch the Obar videos all the time, and they're from out of
Mm.
town. They're from some nearby province. Weren't sure when they were going to be able to visit,
Yeah.
and then um, finally were able to, and then they were happy to bump into me.
Mhm.
And like, oh, okay,
There were
cool.
also those who wanted to go, weren't sure, saw the videos, decided they should go.
And there are some who still haven't, but there are
Yes.
like people in Visayas and Mindanao who have messaged, and I super appreciate that. So yeah, a lot of this video is also like saying hello to all the people
Mhm.
in far flung locations who still watch our content. So yay! Okay,
So yeah, so
wow, that's all the mystery. Nice to meet you, Glenn.
that's our episode for tonight. Again, the 18th is the anniversary. Hope to see you there if you already have a table. If you don't, then you might catch us on Christmas after Noche Buena or New Year after the fireworks if you go.
We're
Um,
all booked.
Try to grab a table before they run out.
We're also thinking of Sundays.
Yeah, that's true. We're also thinking of
I miss
Sundays.
Sundays.
And we want to support Sundays
I
because
just
there's
don't know
less
if our
people.
I don't know if our liver can handle
I don't
Sundays.
know if budget wise it's wise.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
To be honest.
It's a lot. It's a significant outlay.
Yeah. And it's doable, but that would mean less help in certain areas.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
But
all
yeah,
right.
thank you so much for watching. It was awesome. We almost cracked our 10 viewers, which was exciting actually. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we know now a majority watch on their own time and not during the live stream. But we're still grateful.
You
to
watch
have
on
this.
demand. That's cool. All right. So for questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade, RJ Suniko.
You can also check out our blog, badaypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. Let us know what are your favorite Obar memories, or maybe what do you hope to happen when you finally get to visit Obar if you haven't been. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Good night, everyone. I hope we see you soon.